H5N1 strain of bird flu has for the first time been found in Australia. The country's agriculture ministry confirmed. It means the highly contagious variant has now reached every continent. The disease was found in a migratory seabird, a brown skua, in remote Western Australia, Agriculture Minister Julie Collins said on Saturday.
African and Caribbean countries have called for a formal apology and reparations from countries that benefited from the transatlantic slave trade. The demands come at the end of a three-day conference in Ghana, which looked to advance the push for reparatory justice. Mogadishu, Somalia. Israel rolled out a lavish state welcome for Somaliland's president in Jerusalem, extending honours rarely accorded to the leader of a territory still unrecognised by any country other than Israel. President Abdirahman Mohamed Abdullahi, known as Ciro, arrived last Sunday for the first state visit by a Somaliland leader 6 months after Israel became the first country to recognise the breakaway region's independence from Somalia. Pakistan captain Ahmad Shakil Butt has been denied a United Kingdom visa and will not travel with the national team to England for the remaining 4 matches of the FIH Pro leg, scheduled from June 23 to 27. Sources told Dawn that the visa of head coach Manzoor Ul Hassan Sr. has also yet to be issued.
The Resource Group has issued a press statement in response to an article published earlier on Dawn.com. Mohammed Kaishki and Hassanin Aslam have presented their perspective on the company's legal saga over the last several years. The statement details the governance protections put in place to protect TRG and sets out the co-founders' rationale for the decisions taken during this period. The full text of the statement is reproduced verbatim below.
Opposition says provincial gov not fulfilling responsibilities. 14.5 BN allocated in budget for police procurements. 3.3 BN earmarked for safe city projects in Upper and Lower South Waziristan, Orakzai, Kuram, Khyber, Momand and Bajar districts. Public sector universities grant increased to 11.8 BN. Sehat card plus budget raised to 50.4 bins. 10 BN set aside for setting up 72 Chief Minister model schools. 36 BN for Peshawar Revitalisation Plan. 100 metres allocated for welfare of transgender community Peshawar. Presenting the provincial budget for the fiscal year 2026 to 27, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister Mohammed Sohail Afridi said that it would give financial stability to the province.
A new generation of Ukrainian mid-range drones is severely disrupting the Russian military supply lines to the southern front lines, striking bridges, trains and fuel trucks, and giving Kyiv a chance to derail Moscow's plans for a summer offensive. Video and images of about 150 strikes against Russian fuel tankers. Trucks and other vehicles have been geolocated and analysed by French open-source analyst Clément Moline and the volunteer-run OSINT group GeoConfirmed, as well as CNN's OSINT team.
Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham is poised to challenge Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer for the country's premiership on his return to Parliament after winning a by-election in Makerfield, northwest England. Thursday's election, the equivalent of a US special election, was triggered to pave Burnham's route to Downing Street.
FIFA's ability to use football as a unifying factor has arguably never been more streamlined than the collective distaste for its decision to introduce hydration breaks in all fixtures at the World Cup. Fans, players, coaches and everyone in between have criticised, debated and challenged the decision that has become a major talking point of the 6-week-long tournament, with a myriad of other socio-economic, political and financial problems.
Though uncertainty may surround the fate of the US-Iran MO, throughout this episode, from the start of the war on Feb 28 to the electronic signing of the document this week, Pakistan has played a crucial role in securing a diplomatic off-ramp. Other states such as Qatar, Egypt, Turkey, etc. have also played a significant part, but it is Pakistan that has secured top billing in this geopolitical drama. This country's efforts, both public and those behind closed doors, have helped prevent the war from metastasizing into an even more brutal conflict. Nations across the world have appreciated Islamabad's proactive diplomacy. The US president has often expressed his fondness for this country's political and military leadership, while the Iranian president has warmly recognized Pakistan's role in securing the MOU.
Pakistan has entered IMF programs roughly 24 times, more than any other country. Each program lands with the same diagnosis. The tax base is too narrow, distortions are too many, and institutions are too weak. The IMF prescribes, Pakistan implements, and the program ends. And then, after a brief interval, another program begins with the same diagnosis and the same prescription. If this were simply a story of poor implementation or weak state capacity, one would expect at least incremental improvement over these many decades. Instead, the patient presents the same symptoms at every admission. This demands a different kind of explanation, one that asks not why reform has failed, but whether what we call reform was ever designed to succeed. In the theory of inefficient institutions, economist Darren Acemoglu offers the clearest framework for this sort of question. In his theory, the puzzle of persistent underdevelopment dissolves once you accept the premise that groups holding political power choose policies, not to maximize aggregate welfare, but to transfer resources from the rest of society to themselves. Crucially, these choices are not accidental. They are equilibria. The set of rules that emerge are inefficient by design, because the groups that benefit from inefficiency are precisely the groups with the power to shape these rules. Pakistan, examined through this lens, is a classic case study.
Few agreements in the belligerent India-Pakistan relations have demonstrated the resilience of the Indus Waters Treaty. Wars have been fought, but despite all this, through every crisis the IWT endured. Why? Because this endurance reflects a reality that neither India nor Pakistan can escape. Rivers continue to flow regardless of political tensions. In the modern space, the dispute has acquired a fast-paced lawfare dimension. The term lawfare is often used casually, but every legal disagreement is not lawfare, and neither is every international court case. In sum, lawfare involves the strategic use of legal arguments, narratives in pursuit of political objectives. In today's international environment, legal contests unfold simultaneously in diplomatic circles, think tanks, professional networks, even media platforms. The battle is not simply about who possesses the stronger legal argument. It is equally about who succeeds in shaping the broader perception surrounding its legal position.
Vinicius Jr. scored and assisted on one of Matheus Cunha's 2 goals. As 5-time champion, Brazil eliminated Haiti from the World Cup with a 3-0 victory. Haiti, the Western Hemisphere's poorest nation that qualified for the World Cup for the first time since 1974, became the first team guaranteed not to reach the knockout round. Meanwhile, the Selecao got the decisive performance they needed on Friday.
Islamabad. Pakistan will offer a lucrative 18-20% return, along with complete freedom for investors to buy and sell electricity in a competitive market, as it targets the privatization of 3 of the most viable distribution companies discussed in October, November and December. We will provide in the transaction structure terms and conditions that protect consumer interests but also ensure investor comfort. We will do it upfront as part of transaction structure before bidding of the first disco. Otherwise, privatization will not be possible. Prime Minister's advisor on privatization, Muhammad Ali, told Dawn after a meeting of the Privatization Commission Board, which approved a restructuring plan for Faisalabad Electric Supply Company, the first of 5 discos to be sold in 2026 to 27.
Matheus Cunha scored twice as Brazil eased past Haiti 3-0 on Friday to breathe life into their World Cup campaign and close in on a spot in the last 32. After a much criticised display in their opening 1-1 draw with Morocco, the five-time world champions underlined the gulf in class with outsiders Haiti, who became the first country to exit this World Cup.
BNPA GYF lawmakers allege cuts in province's development share and PSDP neglect. Both sides of the aisle welcome Iran, US, Moyuqueta. Opposition lawmakers on Friday, while Treasury and opposition members jointly welcomed the signing of a memorandum of understanding between Iran and the United States and praised Pakistan's role in mediation between the two rivals. A woman was killed and nearly 1,400 tourists were evacuated due to a large fire at a hotel in the Dominican beach resort of Bayahibe. Local authorities said on Friday, Francesca Valentino, a 46-year-old Italian woman, was killed in the fire at the Viva Wyndham Dominicus Beach Hotel, the DH Emergency Service said in a statement.
Ismail Saibari scored the fastest goal of the World Cup 2026 so far after just 71 seconds as Morocco beat Scotland 1-0 to close in on a place in the knockout rounds. Saibari scored in Morocco's opening 1-1 draw with Brazil last weekend, and his clinical finish with just over a minute gone settled a hard-fought physical contest at Boston Stadium on Friday.
You've probably used VLC Media Player, the free video player with the orange traffic cone icon. It's been downloaded more than 6 billion times. But according to its lead developer, Jean-Baptiste Kempf, robots will soon be almost as ubiquitous as his open-source video software, convinced that hundreds of millions of robots and drones will be roaming the streets in a few years. This French serial entrepreneur and open-source legend has been building Kyber, an infrastructure layer for controlling remote devices in real time. Its core software is an SDK that synchronizes video, audio, sensor data, and control inputs with minimal latency. A United States judge has denied a petition from former Democratic President Joe Biden, arguing his right to privacy would be violated should recordings he made for a memoir be made public. On Friday, U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich, an appointee of President Donald Trump, ruled that the recordings could be released to the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank.
The federal government has withdrawn all fuel conservation and additional austerity measures introduced since the 9th March 2026, following Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's approval. According to a notification issued by the Cabinet Division, the decision follows a sharp reduction in petroleum product prices announced by the government on Friday. The United States showed they could win without Christian Pulisic, beating Australia 2-0 to reach the World Cup round of 32. But coach Mauricio Pochettino is hoping his talisman will return for their next fat match. Pulisic missed Friday's Group D clash in Seattle with a calf injury sustained in the USA's opening win over Paraguay, leaving the co-hosts without their most influential attacking player. Last Friday, citing unspecified national security concerns, the White House ordered Anthropic to restrict the export of its powerful AI models Fable and Mythos to anyone outside of the United States, as well as foreign nationals inside the country. Shortly after, the AI giant hastily pulled the plug on both models, which have now been unavailable to anyone for a week. The episode is the first real test of whether the US government can use export controls to contain frontier AI the way it has tried, with very uneven results, to contain encryption and spyware before it. And dramatic as it may sound, how this standoff gets resolved could shape not just Anthropic's access to foreign markets, but the rule book that other AI labs will have to build around.
The State Department in the United States has said that a new round of talks between Israel and Lebanon will be held in Washington, D.C. next week. The statement on Friday came shortly after Israel and Hezbollah announced a renewed ceasefire in Lebanon, where ongoing fighting has threatened to derail the US-Iran Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, to end the war. Lawmakers and pro-Israel groups have issued calls for United States President Donald Trump to ask Congress to review a recent Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, designed to end the US-Israeli war with Iran. They cite the Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act, INARA, as a precedent. Passed in 2015, the law says any agreements with Iran related to its nuclear program must be submitted to Congress for review and a possible vote of disapproval.
Canada midfielder Ismail Cohn underwent surgery to repair severe fractures in his lower left leg that occurred in Thursday's match against Qatar. Last night, Ismail Cohn underwent successful surgery to repair a lower limb fracture. Canada Soccer said in a statement on Friday he is expected to make a full recovery but will miss the remainder of FIFA World Cup 2026. Spain star Lamine Yamal says it is too soon for him to play a full 90 minutes as he continues his recovery from a hamstring injury ahead of the European Champions World Cup game against Saudi Arabia. It's very early, it's unnecessary, the 18-year-old said on Friday.
Go's IPO, Japan's biggest so far this year, has done more than provide a much-needed boost to the country's languishing listing season. It has also supplied the taxi-hailing app with the capital required to address an existential issue. Japan's shortage of drivers, which went public Tuesday, plans to use the 88.6 billion forint raised in its IPO to expand its robo-taxi business and make acquisitions, according to a company spokesperson.
The United States advanced to the World Cup knockout stage with a dominant performance against Australia on Friday, an early own goal and a simple header from Alex Freeman giving the co-hosts a comfortable 2-0 win. Just as they had in their 4-1 victory over Paraguay, the US forced an own goal to open the scoring, with Cameron Burgess the unfortunate defender.
Iran's deputy foreign minister says Tehran wants to continue the diplomatic process with Washington if the United States is serious about respecting their agreement and ensures Israel abides by the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. We are ready to move forward step by step if the other party demonstrates the same seriousness, Saeed Khatibzadeh told Al Jazeera Arabic in an interview on Friday.